The red light is back on in the booth, and the Monster Energy Cup cars get ready to boogie tonight in the Simulation Stock Car Association. Pounding the pavement here in the Granite State, we get set for the 150 miles of simulated NASCAR excitement that will be streaming your way. Hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast as we count down the green for the AdPro 360 Cup Series tonight from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Way up in the press box to bring you all the action tonight, yours truly here, Sean Ambrose, joined by Tanner Sharp and our good buddy Taylor Burris down on the pit lane, keeping track of the action for us. In the director's chair over there is the hardest working man in sim racing broadcasting, Joe Peak, armed with cameras, located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. As cyberspace flows into your place over these next streaming award-worthy minutes, GSRC will be there to bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the simulated NASCAR Cup racing that will immediately follow. I certainly hope everyone stateside enjoyed their 4th of July celebration. But tonight, it's time to talk about racing again. I did attend the shortest parade in the world, a whopping 4 minutes and 34 seconds. No, folks, the video does not lie. But like I said, tonight it's time to get back to some racing on the global Sim Racing channel. So Tanner, before we talk about the track, let me tell our viewers that this race is brought to you tonight thanks to our friends at Paradigm Technology. Paradigm leverages creative and development talent throughout the country in order to achieve the greatest level of success for their clients. Led by CEO and founder Donnie Hyatt, along with a team positioned around the globe in places like Florida, Georgia, New York, Colorado, Washington, Utah, Virginia, Louisiana, India, France, and more. Paradigm brings the most up-to-date, on-demand access and attention to their clients' needs, allowing them to achieve the most innovative, up-to-date success with all their projects. Find out more about them at pdc.technology or paradigmdevelopment.net. Tanner, boy, we were talking about this great track here in Loudon, and we were discussing some facts and some trivia about it. Why don't you tell the folks here a little bit more about this great facility?
Absolutely, Sean. New Hampshire Motor Speedway is a 1.058-mile flat oval speedway located in Loudon, New Hampshire. It has a famous nickname, the Magic Mile, and some would also call it Martinsville on steroids. The straightaways is 65 feet wide with only banked 1 degree and 1,500 feet long. Turn in the corners of the racetrack, only 2 to 7 degrees of banking. Loudon gained a spot on the NASCAR Cup schedule in 1993. Rusty Wallace won the inaugural Slick 5300 in July of that year. The track has also hosted open-wheel racing for 7 years, hosting kart from 1992 to 1995, and then the IndyCar Racing League from 1996 and 1998, and also one IndyCar race in 2011. But the best way to get an idea of what it's like to really hop on board the GSRC Monster Energy Cup Series Gen 6 Chevrolet.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin around the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the GSRC Chevrolet SS. New Hampshire is a 1 mile, pretty much flat oval. Really, when you bank it out, there's a little bit of banking, but I think it's just enough to keep the debris rolling down. Off into turn 1, you're going to kind of find this high groove right here and let the car roll through the middle, pick up the gas about halfway into the corner, and then all the way full throttle again on acceleration. If you get back into it too quick, it's going to spin out and get real loose out of turn 2. Back down into turn 3, same situation. Pretty easy to overshoot the entry to the corner, but the same principle applies on the other end. Let it get down to speed, don't get back to the gas too quick, and let it roll out of the corner. Now my mark here for this guide is the number 2 up there on the fence. If you're really feeling brave, maybe for hot lapping, you might be able to brake somewhere between the 2 and the 1. If you're really brave, you might be able to go at the 1. But the same principle is going to apply for race. You're going to want to get down and get the car settled early, because that's going to help that right front give you grip throughout the run. Let it roll through the middle. Don't get back into it too quick, just like I did right here, and fight the wheel all the way off the corner, straight and across the line. That's going to complete our track guide here around the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in the GSRC Chevrolet SS. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
Our thanks to our old buddy James Krahula for wheeling a couple of bad fast laps here around Loudon in the GSRC Chevrolet. And right now we focus on qualifying just a little bit. Judd Danielson on the provisional pole with a 29 flat right now. Now, based on what we saw in practice, Tanner, I'm thinking maybe a 28.5, 28.4, 28.6, somewhere around there. Probably going to get it. In fact, Bonwell just goes to the top with a 28.9, so he is the first one to crack that 28-second barrier there, Tanner.
Yeah, absolutely. But the fast guys in practice have yet to qualify, and I'm sure we're going to see faster speeds than a 28.975, because the fastest speed in practice was a 28.7, and Bonwell's qualification time, that's 0.2 off. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing some faster speeds in qualification mode.
Well, I'll tell you what, right now we got this qualifying session going. We've still got a little over 9 minutes to go. Let's bring in Taylor Burris just real quick. Taylor going to be riding the pit wall for us this evening. Taylor, what are you looking for this evening out of the drivers? What do you think about the tire situation?
Well, honestly, with this mile course, tires is going to be key here, as a matter of fact. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of guys late in the race to try a two-tire strategy, but most of the guys will be wanting 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on these cars. Pit road speed is going to be about 45 miles an hour, so which will seem like an eternity on this pit road. And then, of course, fuel will be about anywhere between 60 to 65 laps. So there might be some guys who are going to try to break it into maybe 2, maybe 3 stops at the most for tonight's race. So looking forward to a lot of action tonight.
All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to talking to you again, Taylor. In the meantime, why don't we look at the driver standings? There's actually quite a bit to cover there right now. So let's pull those up, get them on screen, and kind of break this down for everybody. If we start looking at the points here and we just start looking at the plus minus for the drivers 6 through 14, we notice that most everyone fell a spot. Why? Well, because Justin Bolton won in his debut race, and with the win and you're in rule, Bolton gets slotted into 5th, just below the other 4 winners, a 30 position jump. Now, the other 4 drivers with at least 1 win are Farnyars, Dylan Jones, David Washington, and Ryan Hill. All of those drivers have 5 or more playoff points, with Farnyars far and away the leader there with 33. The only driver without a win but with playoff points is Alan Elwood with 3. There are 15 playoff points for winning the regular season, and Farnyars right now leads there too, 236 points above the 12th place cut line. His nearest competitor is Elwood in 6th, 163 points to the good. Should be noted, though, that Justin Bolton, because he has only raced once, is negative 308 points. In other words, 308 points behind William Moore in 12th. Now, falling out of the playoff race is Jesse Abraham, dropping from 11th to 13th. Now, if new names that are not on the chart keep coming in and winning, drivers like Gary Sexton and Andrew Payne, who seem playoff safe in 10th and 11th, might get bumped out of the postseason, Tanner. Now, we've looked at those over. Why don't you give us some information about the event tonight?
Yes, absolutely, Sean. This is round 12 of 17 of the regular season races. There will be 7 playoff races, so there's going to be about five races to go until we hit the playoffs. Actually, excuse me, it's round 13 of 17 of the regular season races, so 5 more races left. Every driver is driving a fixed setup here tonight with an 80% fuel load. And speaking of tires and setups, every team is allowed 5 sets. They'll start 4 tires on the car, and the other 5 sets will be waiting for them in the pits. Two cause incidents gets a driver disqualified here tonight, and oh, by the way, there is a green-white checker. No, iRacing didn't come up with anything special. We wish, but the league has come up with something special. If the race finishes under yellow, the top 10 drivers will have 1 attempt for a green-white checkered, going green after the pace car pulls from the victory lap.
Well, right now, 20 cars registered. Got to tell you, that's a pretty good field for a race at New Hampshire in this what I consider a bull ring. It certainly is. It's only 65 feet wide on this track. That's not a lot of places to put a race car. And it's 65 feet all the way around, except for pit lane. It's 60 feet wide there. So 60 feet, not really. We're not talking Daytona or Talladega or Michigan or places like that. This is a mile-long bull ring, essentially. And tonight we get to throw it down for 150 laps. And Tanner, actually over the years, there's been a little bit of controversy over the exact distance, the length of this track. I know the NASCAR and IRL back in the day when the Indy Racing League was still in existence had a couple different measurements for this track. I think NASCAR's got it at like 1.06, and if I remember correctly, I think IRL had it at like 1.1 something. So a little bit of confusion in the short history of this track dating back to 89, but right now it's all about qualifying. Gerald Campbell just goes up to second with a 28.8. It's Dylan Jones that now sits on the pole with a 28.8, and that's done because David Washington just took his Ford to the top with a 28.7. The blue oval on the provisional pole right now, still drivers out there waiting to get their laps in. Trying to see who we've got on track now coming around. And here comes the 6th. That's Gerald. Now Gerald's on pit lane. We had a car out there attempting a lap, and I think I had a little trouble in the backstretch. Yeah, Tanner, nobody currently on the track. We've got 14 cars that are taking a time right now, and, well, the remaining 6 still sitting in the box.
Yeah, absolutely. But just looking at the qualification times here, it's kind of showing me who's probably going to be up front because track position here at New Hampshire is huge. Passing will be a very difficult thing to do as the tires wear off. David Washington's going to have the best spot for a couple reasons. One, he's going to have that number 1 pit stall, and 2, he's going to have that clean air to start with. So Washington, he is fastest in practice, and he's fastest in qualification mode. Along with Gerald Campbell, who's going to start 3rd, but he was 2nd in practice. Dylan Jones was 4th in practice. He qualified 2nd. So there's some drivers who are improving, some drivers stay the same, and some drivers did lose a little time during the qualification trim.
And I think got a driver going out now. It looks like Kyle Kammer going to make his way out on track and take a couple of cracks at putting in a qualifying time here. Weather is up. Let's take a look at that. It's 84 degrees outside today here. Mostly cloudy, 95 degrees on track. Not blistering, but warm enough. Rest assured that temperature will increase as we go through these 150 miles as as Taylor talked about a little while. Man, that's going to be tough. Taylor? As Taylor was talking about a little while ago, tires certainly going to be part of the strategy here this evening. Listen, when you're only dealing with 2 to 7 degrees of variable banking in these turns, something's got to give, and it's going to be the rubber on these Goodyears this evening.
It's definitely going to be, and tires can make a huge difference, as Taylor did point it out earlier in the broadcast. But, if you can, because the tires is really going to help you make you rotate. It's going to help you gain that grip on corner exit. And if you don't have that grip, you're going to be kind of spinning. And as you mentioned, Sean, that track temperature is only going to go up as the race goes on. Right now, it's only 95 degrees. And so far, it's getting warmer and warmer.
A little bit of problem there for Cameron. He gets in the wall. Only able to get a 29.2 on his first lap. His second one will be disqualified there. That was good enough to roll him up into 11th. You know what? And let's see. Let's go to Taylor real quick. I think he's picked something up here in the pits.
Yeah, one thing we could also keep an eye out for is that some of these guys will also be thinking of track position. As we know, track position is key, like we were talking about earlier. So we might see some guys try even some other weirder strategies, such as even taking no tires early enough in these runs just to see how well these cars handle. But, of course, like you said, we will be mostly seeing 4-tire pit stops through the duration of this race.
Yeah, generally how it shakes out here. But I'll tell you what, I think we can go ahead and safely announce our Sim Speed Shop award winner tonight, and that is going to be Mr. David Washington. A great run for him, and the round 13 winner of the Sim Speed Shop Pole Award. For every 2 poles, a driver earns $5, and the driver with the most poles at the end of the season is going to earn $20. courtesy of simspeedshop.com, a great place to order custom button boxes as well as buy and sell used equipment. For more information, go to simspeedshop.com. Tanner, I'd say this field is pretty well set now with 20 drivers ready to go. It's going to be a short pace lap. Why don't we go ahead and get to the grid now? And it's going to be David Washington on the pole tonight. Dylan Jones going to sit there on the outside to start it.
Gerald Campbell's going to start in the second row, side by side with Josh Bonwell.
All right, that's going to be Trey Galgan, the Pennsylvania driver, starting in fifth. Judd Danielson, sixth tonight.
In seventh place, Gary Sexton and Andrew Payne is going to start in eighth.
All right, row 5 is going to be all about Ryan Robertson and Eric Stanford.
Outside that top 10 here tonight, starting 11th, Kyle Kammer, and he'll start side by side with Richard Reagan Jr. in 12th.
All right, and row 7 is going to be Ray Richard, Jesse Abraham.
And row 8, William Locklear, last driver taking qualification time. He'll be starting side by side with, it actually just flipped on me, I believe it's Andrew Farnyars.
Row 9, Ryan Hill, Ethan Moore.
Stephen Llewellyn and Ellery Queen round out the 19-car field that's going to start tonight's event.
Ellery, not to be confused with Mississippi Queen. That's a whole other story. But anyway, as we get ready to travel around New Hampshire here for a pace lap, you know, we were talking about the history at this track, whereas it's not lengthy. It doesn't go back to the 50s and 60s. It's not, you know, one of the great bull rings of the golden era. In its just under 30 years of existence, it has provided some great racing in all different types of series. They do a lot of racing at this track. They utilize that road course just outside the backstretch quite often for a lot of different series. But we were talking about the modifieds and what a history they have running here at Loudon. They are going to miss that fall show when the Cup guys come to town. This will be the first year that the Cup cars will not be going to Loudon in the fall, and the modified drivers are going to miss that because that was a great companion event for them. But tonight it's about the AdPro 360 Cup Series, and AdPro Results, a great sponsor of this series. You can find them on Facebook and on Twitter, AdPro Results. I believe it's adproresults.com, their website. But, you know, Tanner, have you thought of a favorite tonight? You got somebody you like?
Well, usually I would always love to go off of practice times, and I am currently doing that. I am going to go with, I'll go with Dylan Jones as my pick here tonight.
All right. Taylor, what do you think?
I don't know, really. I'm going to be looking at Gary Sexton. He showed some great speed during practice, and also, of course, our pole sitter you always got to watch out for is David Washington. So I'll be making sure to look out for those guys in today's race.
Can Bonwell make it too? I don't know. Boy, it's going to be, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a fun night, but man, Dylan Jones, I don't know. Maybe this is his night to pull one off here. Let's look at the race analysis real quick. 150 laps tonight. 3 stages. Yes, we are stage racing here in the AdPro 360 Cup Series. 40 laps for stage 1, 40 laps for stage 2, 70 for the final stage. And as Taylor talked about earlier, we're expecting about 60 to 65 laps on the fuel run. But here we go. We're getting ready to crank them up now.
Yes, sir, Sean. Time to put on the gloves, plug in the steering wheels, because we are going racing at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yes, sir, we are. And boy, the Paradigm 150. David Washington leads him through turns 3 and 4 in a Coors Light blue oval. And here we go. We're going to do it radio style here on the start. We've had an iRacing problem. We're fixing it. Here goes David Washington. The pace car is in, and he's on the hammer. Washington, dead heat across the line with Dylan Jones. Jones still to his outside as they head into 1, and now David Washington starting to pull away. Here comes Gerald Campbell down on the bottom. Dylan Jones trying to hold it down there up top. He keeps it off the wall. Campbell gets in line. Josh Bonwell right behind him. Judd Danielson coming up through the field here real quick. Dropping Trey Galgan. Galgan now up side by side with Danielson. Galgan gets the advantage out of turn 4. They come across the start-finish line. It is David Washington, your leader, after lap 1.
Drivers getting single file pretty quickly here, but there is a pretty good battle with Eric Stanford back there. He is going side by side with Richard Regan Jr. That is the first side by side battle for about 8th spot in the field. Although in the top 5, I thought they were going to go side by side, but drivers are kind of trying to settle in here. This is the racetrack that you have to have patience.
Yeah, I think everybody's settling in except Galgan right now, as he seems to be fighting hard for that 4th spot right now with Josh Bonwell. Galgan all over the rear bumper, almost making contact, coming out of 2, and he gets him a little bit around. Danielson checks up. There's the checkup behind him at 93. Oh, no. Now everybody's stacked up. Eric Stanford gets turned around. Oh, several cars in that. Andrew Payne looks to be maybe getting the worst of that. The 4 was in it of William Locklear. A lot of innocent bystanders in that one, Tanner.
Absolutely. It was a battle between Galgan and Bonwell, and Bonwell just got hooked in left rear quarter panel and almost tried to save it, but come up right in front of traffic and got into other drivers, such as, I believe, Gary Sexton's involved as well, Eric Stanford, Robert Robinson, Andrew Payne, a lot of good cars who were hoping for a good night tonight.
Well, guess what? New Hampshire, you can fight back, okay? It's a track that with a little bit of damage, you can still fight back and have a decent car. Danielson's got some heavy damage on the front of his Toyota, though. That is a shame. That's going to need some serious repair. Several cars going down pit road. Most of them have damage.
Yeah, looking at some of these cars right now, Andrew Payne, we have Trey Galligan, Judd Danielson, all those guys coming down. Some of them not too bad on the damage of the car, but looks like some of them are going to get it fixed. Looks like the worst, though, does go to that number 13 car of Gary Sexton. His nose is completely destroyed, so their pit crew's definitely going to have to get to work on that tonight. It's going to be a long night for them.
We apologize for the technical issues. We're straightening it out right now. We'll have a live feed for you here in just a moment, but we'll continue to do it radio style here in the caution. These caution laps won't be very long, folks. So, when you do pick up some damage, it's you got to be quick. You got to hope that damage is minimal and they're not sitting in there, or you're having to race back out and race back in on that. And like you talked about, Taylor, that 45-mile-an-hour pace road speed. That's certainly an issue. That's going to obviously increase your time. It looks like the bogey times right now for some of these drivers upwards of like 30 seconds just up and down the pit lane.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's now leaving pit road. The only car that's still staying on pit road right now is Josh Bonwell. He has gone now 2 laps down by the looks of it. So it looks like a little more severe case for him right now in the pit road, but hopefully they'll get the car back out for him.
Yeah, everybody comes around to catch the field now. The lights on the pace car are out, and the pace car is on that back stretch. And picture coming back here in just a moment. Still going to be David Washington leading this race on the restart. Tanner, as we get ready to go, there'll be Dylan Jones flanked to his outside, Gerald Campbell, and Richard Regan Jr. on the second row. Coming up 8 spots through the field right now. Here we get ready to go. The Ford Mustang pace car gets ready to take that left turn. And David Washington gets ready to get on the hammer. And how quick will he do it? He's on it. Here we go. Washington with a great jump. Jones falling asleep. He's got to worry about Richard Regan all over his back door. Watch out,
trouble.
Gerald Campbell.
Turn 1.
Oh, boy. That didn't take long. Poor.
Sexton's involved.
Yeah, but it started. It looked
Ellery
like it
Queen.
started with the 62. Ellery Queen. That car started to go around by itself. I just, he had a little bit of help actually. Wow. Here it is on the replay. You're going to see actually Sexton in the middle of that. Ellery Queen is 62 is the one that's going to get hit from behind there. Got a little help from Trey Galgan. Galgan spins there in the middle of the track also. Sexton gets caught up in another one. And
we have an onboard of Judd Danielson.
Yep, we'll get that maybe here in a second. We'll take a look at that. Here, we'll watch this replay. You see the contact right there, and Galgan just did not look like he was didn't look like he was expecting him to slow down that much, but driver's got to kind of be prudent in his choices, and unfortunately, because that was the second incident that Galgan's been assigned to, that's been his disqualification for the race. So Trey Galgan out of this event now, Tanner.
Absolutely, and that's very unfortunate for Trey Galgan, but what a good drive by Judd Danielson, not getting any contact right there despite the damage he already has. I did see a mixed bag, though, on that last restart. Top 8 drivers did stay out, trying to check and see if any more drivers came in. I'm sure some drivers more drivers coming in from that previous incident to get damage repaired.
Yeah, they're in now. You got the field. You got Danielson, Sexton, Payne, Robertson, all down there right now getting repaired. Well, it quite hasn't started off like I thought it would here. A little bit of attrition early. Looks like Bonwell. Is Bonwell? No, Bonwell's back out. So right now it'll be the DQ there for Galgan. You see the 16, Dylan Jones coming in the pit. That's one of our leaders deciding to come down pit road there.
I'd like to take note of one thing. Andrew Farniar's just blinked out, and that's who I was just about to talk about. He has been coming down pit road and just kind of topping off the field with the exception of this last caution here, under this caution right now, to take 4 tires. So it got some strategy going on right now. That's kind of throwing a mixed bag of strategy in the field right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Jones is opting for fuel and tires. In fact, that's exactly what he's done, and he's out and away.
Looks like he stalled the car. There he goes now.
So far, I am only seeing the top 6 cars right now who have stayed out, have yet to visit pit road in this race. David Washington, Gerald Campbell, Richard Reagan Jr., Ray Richer, Stephen Llewellyn, and Kyle Kamer. Everybody else has at least visited pit road once.
All right, I'm going to look for the pace car to shut its lights off here. Everybody will get stacked up and ready to get this race restarted. We'll restart on lap 12, it looks like. The beginning of lap 12. Yeah, the lights are out, and here we go. Richard Regan now down on the inside for this restart. That's going to roll Ray Richer up to the top side of row 2, the 44 in the mix. And then you've got Stephen Llewellyn and Kyle Cameron there on row 3, Ethan Moore, Jesse Abraham on row 4, William Locklear, Ryan Hill. Round out your top 5 rows here on the restart as we head down the back stretch. And we get ready to rock and roll here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Look for Washington to get a great jump again off the start. Campbell got to try not to fall asleep this time. Get rolling with him.
A hard thing to do.
Yeah, got that whole top line stacked up on that restart, though. Here we go. The pace car's off. Washington looking for the line, and he's gone. Boy, another great start for David Washington. Shot out like a cannonball. Richard Reagan with a great move down the inside. Can he hang on to it? He drifts up the track a little bit, side by side with Gerald Campbell. Campbell getting nice momentum off of turn 2. Gets a little bit of the wall. Rear end a little bit loose, but he's still going to hold on to that second spot. David Washington up front, still with a great run. Keeping the car stable in the middle of the groove.
Oh, yeah. First side-by-side might be brewing up between Stephen Llewellyn and Jesse Abraham in the 97 and the 23. Abraham and Moore back here. Otherwise, you got back-of-the-pack drivers who have some sort of damage, really trying to battle. Gary Sexton is a load of trouble right now. He's about to be overtaken here. I do believe that is by
Ellery Queen getting by him. Here comes Dylan Jones. Boy, poor Gary struggling right now with the dirty air. Toyota. So much front end damage on that car. He's just got to be manhandling the steering wheel right now.
And possibly down on horsepower, too.
Yeah, it could be. Might have to be watching the gauges right now.
Car in the wall, Ethan Moore.
Oh, Ethan Moore. Boy, the car got tight on him, and it snapped on him back up into the wall. He hangs on to it, though. Ethan able to keep going. We'll catch it on the replay. The iRacing Toyota on screen right there. You saw him get a little bit tight. The car snaps on him. He goes right up to the wall. He's able to bring it down off the wall, though. Keep the car going with a little bit of right side damage. And Ethan Moore survives. New Hampshire Speedway. And he's tracking on Dylan Jones right now. Jones trying to recover himself. Down 9 spots right now back here at 11th.
Hopefully that damage doesn't plague Ethan Moore as the race goes on. But meanwhile, we got who's up there watching this kind of just pulled away. The first battle I was kind of seeing that's kind of brewing up right now is between Ray Richer and Kyle Kammer.
Yeah, good observation. Just behind him, Ryan Hill just got by Jesse Abraham. Ellery Queen just picked up another spot to go into 9th.
Man, Moore almost socked the wall again, and this time he had a bunch of drivers here. He's kind of got a pack of wolves right ahead of him. Dylan Jones on the bottom, underneath William Locklear, trying to go for a position, trying to get the run off. Does not happen.
This is a little bit of a mess right here. Ellery Queen trying to make it happen down on the bottom, just in front of them. He is almost side by side there with Jesse Abraham.
Kyle Kammer and Ray Richer going at it for position. That's a battle for 4th at the moment. Kammer gets the spot.
Yeah, Kammer's up through the field, 7 spots right now. Since that restart, he's picked up 3 real quick ones. Now he gets to go work on the top 3. That's 2 seconds to Richard Regan.
Oh, Locklear almost hit the quarter panel of Ethan Moore on entrance of the corner. Does not touch him, though, thankfully. Dylan Jones almost gets into the wall. But I'm telling you what, practically from, I want to say, like 9th on back, maybe 8th on back, where Ellery Queen is, that's a hornet's nest they're battling back here.
Yeah, Ellery Queen, Jesse Abraham having a really good battle right now. It's Dylan Jones behind them, almost acting like he's being held up just a little bit. But Abraham liking that high line right now. You see the good run he's going to get off the turn. Going to have some power, some momentum. Not that time, though. Wow. Ellery Queen got a little close. Look at this. Oh, wow. Ethan Moore throws it into the middle. Wow, what a move by Moore.
You got to remember, they took a little bit of evasive action. Just, almost contact between Moore and Jones. But they took a little evasive action because Abraham may have hit the wall coming off of turn 2.
Ellery Queen able to move away from that battle just a little bit. The 62 starting to run. Ethan Moore getting better of Dylan Jones. Jones going to look back to the bottom in turn 3. Can he keep it down there? That's the trick. So hard when you're trying to outbrake your opponent on the outside to keep the car stable and down on the inside. They still run side by side into turn 1.
The middle groove is where you want to be. That's where you're going to find the most grip. It's not the bottom lane. It's not the high lane. It's that middle groove. And you got 2 drivers right here of Jones and Moore trying to fight for that middle groove. And it looks like Jones is going to get Ethan Moore. I think that damage is kind of hurting Moore just a little bit on that right side because he does have some right rear spoiler damage.
All right, now, Tanner, we've gotten down to some racing. David Washington doing his work here, a 2.5 seconds ahead of Gerald Campbell. Oh, and as Farnyar's had a problem. I've seen him drop several spots all of a sudden. Maybe connection issues that we talked about earlier getting the best of him, Tanner.
Yeah, he's been blinking ever since the last caution, so he's been blinking quite a bit now. It's not enough to where he's going to drop from the server here, so we'll have to keep an eye on this story as this race progresses.
Okay, back to 8th because Ellery Queen still feeling a lot of pressure here from Dylan Jones. Jones looks to the inside, coming down the backstretch. They get into 3. Jones gets on the bottom. Ellery Queen washes all the way up the track. It's Jones going to 8th place. Now looking to take over Ryan Hill. They've been closing on Hill, too, here for the last several laps. They've gotten to the back door. Hill is in trouble after picking up 9 spots early, a little bit deeper into the run. It does look like the Hillco Chevrolet is starting to fall off just a bit.
Dylan Jones has been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. Not this time by, but the last time by, he was a 10th quicker than the race leader, David Washington. This time by, coming to the line, let's see, since he wasn't battling with anybody, he currently runs a 29.8 compared to a 29.7 on Washington, so a 10th slower. But again, Dylan Jones is dealing with dirty air compared to Washington's clean air.
This is true, and boy, clean air king at helping the car turn at this track. And the leader can do just about anything he wants. It doesn't matter which car. It seems like in just about all the cars here in Run at New Hampshire, you've got the clean air here. You've really got something. Richard really working on Jones really working on Hill. Gonna go to the outside. Hill makes a little bit of a mistake on the exit of the turn. And Dylan Jones cruises on by, picks up another spot, got himself now into 7th.
Climbing up through the field after starting second here.
Caution,
no.
I think it was Ethan Moore. Was it Ethan? No, it wasn't Ethan Moore again, was it?
Ryan Robinson, maybe? Yep, Ryan Robinson.
Yeah, you're going to have to help talk me through that. I did not catch that one at all. Here we go on the replay. It's in that teal car right there. It looked like he had trouble coming off turn, slapped the wall, car pulls off. But he didn't pull off all the way out of the racing line, so it triggered the caution. And we were about 14 laps to go to the end of the stage. So a lot of drivers here left on track with a choice to make right now, Tanner.
Yeah, and the guys that have been pitting for fresher tires, whether they have damage or not, have not gained on the drivers whatsoever. The ones that did stay out, that have yet to visit pit road. So that just kind of tells me on a short run, tires ain't meaning a whole heck of a lot.
No.
It's the track position.
Yeah, Taylor, why don't you take a look here? Let us know what's going on here on pit road as we come around. And let's take us through the field. I know the leader's going to stay out. Well, it looks like our top 6 has stayed out. Let's look at everybody else.
Yep, it looks like we only have a couple of cars coming down, and those who are outside the top 10, Ethan Moore, Judd Danielson, Josh Bonnell, Eric Stanford, all those guys coming down pit road, probably just to get a little more damage fixed right now at the moment. So let's see here, as we have Ethan Moore now entering his pit box. Gary Sexton still tore up with his car. Hopefully the pit crew can get a little more damage repaired on the matter. But other than that, looks like David Washington has his mindset. He's going to try to run this full fuel run for the most part until needing to pit. Same thing with the rest of the top 6.
And these pit stops certainly help out somebody like Gary Sexton, don't they? I mean, he can get a little bit of damage repaired every time we have to stop.
Exactly. I mean, every little bit of damage that you can get repaired is meaning a possibility of gaining an extra 10th, maybe an extra position. You got to get out there and race for these points. Points is so key right now, especially for Gary Sexton, because anybody could pick up a win that's outside of that top 12, and he could be outside looking in come towards the end of the playoffs. Right,
exactly like we talked about in the pre-race. Yeah, great point. So Gary going to sit in there, try and get some more damage done. Now we see everybody pulling out. Gary, Judd Danielson, the 93 comes out there of Andrew Payne. Eric Stanford gets out. So we've picked up 3 cautions here in the first stage. Not the end of the world. Actually had a really nice run right there out of the guys, and it did some good side-by-side racing. A couple of exciting battles to watch there as we saw Dylan Jones and Ellery Queen have a good fight, and Ryan Hill did a really good job of hanging on to his spot, but as we noticed a little bit deeper into the run, that Chevrolet started to kind of go away from him a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here amongst the top 6 that have not taken tires. And honestly, the guys just right behind them, only on tires that are brought 8 laps better. So we'll see if there's a big difference. But when we get restarted, we're only going to have about 8 laps to go to the end of the stage. So 40 laps in the first stage, 40 in the second, and 70 to close this out in the third stage. And as the pace car comes across, the lights go out. David Washington and Gerald Campbell get ready to do it again, Tanner.
David Washington's going to take advantage of being the race leader on these restarts because he's known as the control car. The driver that's going to have a hard time on these restarts is Gerald Campbell because he's starting in second, and he really has to try to guess when the leader's going to go. And a lot of the times you just don't time that right, and you're kind of caught sleeping on the job just a little bit. As we capture the 1-to-go signal, if you pitted under this caution, the best I think you're going to get is going to be a top 10 finish when stage 1 ends.
Well, here we go. It's time again to get things restarted here in the Paradigm Technologies 150 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The Ford pace car coming out of turn 4, getting ready to make that left turn under the Sunoco sign. And here we go. David Washington, that control car. Now he's on the hammer. Same spot all 3 times we've restarted. Drag race back there between Regan and Campbell. Campbell making a bold move along the top. Regan keeping it solid down below. They're going to drag race off of turn 2 down the backstretch. Regan still hanging in there, holding the edge. Not by much. Campbell going to break a little bit deeper, and I think that might settle it when they come off the turn. Campbell going to move down in front of Richard Regan and take that second spot.
Boy,
and now they
trouble! Ryan Hill, caution!
Oh boy. Yeah, it looks like it might have started with Richard off of turn 4. We're going to see the replay in just a moment. Poor Ray got a little too high, wide, and Hanson there, and drags a little bit of that rear end off the wall, and when it does, it snaps the car around. He's going to come right down in front of Ryan Hill. You'll see him get out of shape here out of turn 4. Car is just going to get a little bit of piece of that wall, and it sends it back down across the track right in front of Ryan Hill, and it's just absolutely destroyed that Chevrolet. The Hill Coast Chevrolet has no front end left on it, basically. On board with Hill here. It's just there's nothing he can do about it. Innocent bystander, just along for the ride at this point.
Yep.
And a hard shut into that inside retaining wall.
And if this was an actual real life race, I would say, and that's not even safer barrier down there. He took a really hard lick, but that's very unfortunate for Ray Richard because he was running pretty good within the top 5 and just got into the wall and tried to shake that off just a little bit, but got a little too low to where make contact with Ryan Hill. But a driver on the move with some fresh tires was Ethan Moore. But Taylor, we got some pit stops. Gerald Campbell hitting the pits for the first time, but not a lot of drivers coming down there.
Yep, everyone's trying to do a fake by the looks of it. David Washington just keeping focused, staying on track, but Gerald Campbell is so far the only car coming down pit road at the moment. Also, we got Ray Richard getting his damage repaired also at the moment. Everyone else is coming back as those who were damaged from previous incidents, trying to get those cars repaired as best as they can. But looking at Ray Richard, he's going to be on pit road for quite some time by the looks of his car. Just no nose on the car at all. So hopefully he can get that car back out. But looks like Gerald Campbell getting back out onto the track after a 4-tire pit stop and some fuel.
Tanner, are you a little surprised at all the attrition this season?
I'm a little bit about this pit stop right here. Track position, is clearly the king right now, as a lot of drivers are playing that strategy, like Richard Regan, Kyle Kammer, Llewellyn. Where is he going to? Where is Campbell going to really end up here? Is my question, because he's going to be in the back of the pack, and that's going to be a lot of traffic to go through, and you really got to try to go through that traffic without attempting to run somebody over. You know, that could be valuable stage points.
Yeah,
realistically.
Yeah, it could. And I'll tell you what, there are going to be a points hit for several drivers this evening, and that's a bit of a shame. I thought we'd have a nice cruise around New Hampshire this evening for 150 laps, and everybody would get along. It has not been the case tonight. It's been a little rough here. 4 caution flags now, and this opening segment has really got the drivers looking over their shoulder here. The top 4, though, Washington, Reagan, Kammer, and Llewellyn. Llewellyn, your hard charger right now, up from 18th place, currently sitting here in 4th. And a chance to, who knows, maybe win a stage here for Llewellyn.
He could, but he's going to have to try to kick that number 98 of David Washington off the throne, because he's just been the master on these restarts. He's been the race leader, the control car, working with that clean air. I mean, Washington's sitting pretty, man.
While the lights are out. What does that mean? Well, it means it's time to get started again.
Only a couple laps to go. We're going to be coming to 3 laps to go when they come to take the green flag for this first stage. You got Washington, Reagan Jr., Kammer, Llewellyn, and Jones. Actually, I take that back. Llewellyn, the top 4 drivers have yet to visit pit road. Everybody else has at least visited pit road at least once. This is going to be a mixed bag right here, but I think still track position is going to be that key. Kind of shocked Campbell pitted. Here we go, Sean. We're going to be coming to 3 laps to go, stage 1.
Yes, sir. Here we go. And it's going to be a battle to win this first stage. David Washington, for the first time all night, is under threat. Here comes Richard Regan. What kind of start is he going to be able to get here on the outside? Washington going to pull away again. 4th time he's done that. Regan with a pretty good start, though. He's got good momentum off the top. Kammer going to battle him down low. I don't think either one of them is going to have anything for Washington. Washington still in command of this race, starting to pull away. 2 laps to go here to the end of the stage. Regan holding down second. Kammer's going to make a move to the inside. He's going to take a look. He's peeking. He's peeking. There's nothing there. Not yet. Oh, he's come alongside him now. He's bringing Dylan Jones with him to the party. Regan still fighting to hang on to that second spot.
Kammer not giving up on Richard Regan right now. He wants that second spot. He wants the stage bonus points. But right now, it looks like he's backing up on the inside. Got a little loose. Oh, man. That is going to cost you some track position if you're not careful coming off the exit of the corner, because here comes Jones trying to attempt the outside row. That has been the best line as far as corner exit. White flag of stage 1.
And it's been all about David Washington since the green flag drop. And man, Kammer continues to, is Kammer continuing to fall back here? Kammer, no, he's holding on to 3rd. Sorry about that. Dylan Jones comes up alongside to make slight contact. Jones almost loses it, does a great job of hanging onto the car and hanging on to 4th or 5th place. Kammer is still digging for more, trying to get that spot back from Ethan Moore. Moore not going to have any of it. David Washington come out of 4 and win stage 1 here in the Paradigm 150.
Oh, they're wrecking in the back.
Speedway.
Jesse Abraham.
Oh, man, Abraham, Ellery Clean, both hitting that inside retaining wall. The 93 gets caught up in that. Poor Andrew Payne had nowhere to go. And Gary Sexton again gets involved in that. Here's the replay. And, you know, it just gets into the wall there. Much like we saw before with, I'm trying to remember the last incident, but again, just it's the contact of that wall coming out of turn 4 and across the start-finish line. It was Richard I was talking about before. But yeah, the contact there, and here's on board with Gary Sexton, looking for a way to get out of it, and he doesn't. He gets nicked as he's going by. It sends the car around, and he picks up even more damage.
Man, you see an accident ahead, man. Ahead, and oh, he actually got clipped from behind too.
Yeah.
Man, it's been a rough night for Gary Sexton, man. Holy moly!
And that all happens right at the end of the stage. There and more cars torn up, unfortunately, because of that. A great job by Richard Regan, though, of winning that battle there against Kyle Kammer to hang on to his second spot. And we'll see them all come on down here, Taylor.
Yep, here they come down pit road. A couple of guys are staying out. Looks like Ethan Moore is staying out, so he will be the current leader of the race. As we now have Richard Regan entering his pit stall. David Washington also. David Washington going to be doing a 4-tire pit stop in fuel, trying to just keep it smooth and steady for the most part of this race, making sure he's focused. Also, as we have Judd Danielson trying to get some repairs along with Gary Sexton. Also, Dylan Jones is trying to also beat him off pit road. By the looks of it, as David Washington wins the race off of pit road, followed immediately by Kyle Kammer, Dylan Jones, and then Richard Regan, and then Stephen Llewellyn, your top 5 that exit off pit road.
All right, well, there we go. Here's your big update from the pits. And thanks a lot, Taylor, for joining us tonight. That's good coverage down there on that pit wall, buddy. That was a busy place there for a moment.
Yeah, I was just trying to follow everyone around.
We had some fans in the YouTube chat of the old Sterling Marlin paint scheme there on David Washington's car tonight. The silver bullet. I gotta admit, that's a throwback that never gets old. Not a fan of the beer, but a fan of the paint job.
I was just about to say, I mean, got me thirsty for a beer. I'm a Coors Light guy there, Sean, but okay. That's all right.
All right.
Hey, guys, one thing I want to keep an eye on is Gerald Campbell. You know, he did make that pit stop on that last caution before the end of stage, but now he's up in second place. So I want to keep an eye on him, see how he does now. He's got the track position. He's going to be starting on the outside row. The Ethan Moore had a little bit of damage, so we'll have to watch that restart coming to the green flag.
Yeah, you know, when David Washington was leading these restarts, Campbell kept getting smoked on the restarts. So maybe there's a chance for Campbell here to maybe get one over on Ethan Moore and get himself up into the front of this race and maybe be able to hold on to it with that clean air. But we are about to find out what kind of difference 15 laps is going to make on those tires.
Yeah, absolutely, and just keep an eye on Campbell, fellas, as well, like Taylor said, because realistically, he's only got about 5 to 7 laps of green flag tires on, not counting the caution laps right now, and he did pit not under this caution, but the previous caution, which we only seen 3 laps to go. So, I mean, he's in second spot again. He's not very good on the restarts when he's in second. But what this is giving Campbell is track position. And actually, right now, we got a little bit of a switch. Ethan Moore the race leader, has now elected the outside row. So this is a little bit of a first time we've seen tonight.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
One quick update. We have a couple of penalties that just been issued. Gary Sexton and Jesse Abram have both been issued EOL penalties, and Ellery Queen has decided to take it behind the wall.
A tough night for Queen. We saw that car bouncing all over the place here. All right, here comes the Ford pace car. It is gone and off the racetrack. Here we go, and boy, Ethan Moore, I think, knew what he was doing. Poor Gerald Campbell can't get a good restart tonight to save his life. He's got Washington all over his rear bumper. He sides up in the middle of the track. Washington comes down low, almost makes contact. That checks up Cameron. Now Washington's still in the wall. Not Washington, I'm sorry, Gerald Campbell in the wall. Washington is going to get by, or at least try to. They are side by side. Campbell struggling on this restart. Still struggling. Man, it's really tight.
Oh, man. Yeah, right up to the back bumper of the number 98 of David Washington. But, contact between Cameron and Campbell. Campbell's in the outside wall. Still hangs on to it. No caution. Right now, he's trying to battle for the top 5 spot on Richard Regan coming off turn number 2 and possibly go for more now on Dylan Jones.
And the rough start for our good friend Gerald Campbell has just gotten even rougher. Now he's got Dylan Jones and Richard Regan to deal with here, and damage on his car now for the first time tonight. The right front not looking very healthy. That means he's probably having a hard time getting that car to turn in.
Boy, Campbell really struggling on that bottom, and he just cannot get that car to rotate in the center of the corner. He just got overtaken by Richard Regan for the 5th spot. We might have a battle for the race lead starting to brew up with Washington and Moore. There is a tire difference between the 2 drivers. So far, the tires are sticking pretty well with Ethan Moore as far as track position is concerned.
Yeah, well, the clean air is helping him, but I think it's only going to help him so long. Washington looks to be getting a little bit impatient. He's moving all over the track, trying to find an opportunity to find a way to get past Ethan Moore here. It hasn't developed yet. Ethan Moore, remember, did not take a qualifying time. What are you seeing there, buddy? The checkup by Washington?
Yeah, almost got into the back bumper of Moore, but Moore's still hanging on tight. With that little bit of a checkup, kind of brought Cameron and Jones right into the mix. You can fold over the top 4 cars over a blanket. Richard Regan Jr. is not too far behind as well. So this is some battle for the lead.
Oh boy! Washington shoots it off the turn. Got a really nice run. Man, that exit was bad fast. Washington able to hold it down here on the bottom. He's still in front of Moore. And now Moore's going to settle in behind him. Got no choice as the track started to get really thin there. Washington back to the lead. It took him a few laps to get it done. Here comes Kyle Amber now threatening for that position there in second.
And Ethan Moore just trying to hang on. Even though he's got a little bit older set of tires, he's still hanging on very, very well. But he's got drivers behind him like Cameron and Jones, especially Jones, who's been practically on the move for quite a while coming up through the field. But he doesn't really have a damaged race car. Jones knows he's fast. It's just a matter of getting by each driver.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got to tip the cap to Ethan Moore again. The old tires. He's able to keep them rolling here, and we know we're good for about 60 to 65 laps. I mean, if he plays this right, he could make it to the end of the stage. His tires are going to fall off, but guess what? Everybody behind him, their tires are going to continue to fall off as well. So, and we've got a caution. Who was it? And I'm not seeing why that caution came out here.
Oh, it was Abraham.
Was it Jesse Abraham?
Yeah, he got a little help from... Who was that? That is Gary Sexton.
Man, I used to calling Gary's name for good reasons. Tonight, Gary just having a rough one. And boy, so is Jesse Abraham. And that car spun. It was a fortuitous spin right into the pits there. Nobody else picks up any damage by getting into him. So this should be a quick caution session here. Less than 100 to go now. And in fact, we're not too far from the end of the second stage.
I still like the strategy of Ethan Moore because I can't stress enough how track position is so important.
Yep, he's going to come in now.
He's coming in now.
Yeah.
He might split this stage in half, possibly.
All right. Hey, in fact, Taylor, why don't you tell us what they're going to do here? Because I saw Gerald Campbell come in also.
Yep, it looks like those guys are going to try and split the stage at the moment. Looks like now as Ethan Moore enters his pit box, Gerald Campbell is also going to try and hit pit road as well. So I think they're going to be trying to split this stage in half, so that way they can maybe gain a little track position towards the end of this stage when everyone else might have to consider pitting towards the end. Also, we got Gary Sexton also on pit road trying to recover some more damage on pit road as his car is just completely destroyed. He's trying to get as much points as he can by the looks of it tonight. Andrew Payne is also doing some damage repair along with Eric Stanford and Ryan Hill. So these guys are just trying to recover as many points and positions as they can to recuperate from this pretty much disastrous night for them.
Yeah. You know, it looks like Taylor, it looks like Campbell may be just getting some damage repaired. That's a long stop. Didn't see him go up for tires.
No, I don't see any tires. Nothing's going on over there. It just looks like he is doing damage repair by the looks of it.
He did get into the wall in turns 1 and 2. Maybe he felt like the car was a little had an ill handling feel to it. So probably repair as much damage as he can. Gotta remember, there's so much you could do in a fixed setup race.
Yeah, just looking at the car over the pit stop, there was no tire change at all. So just trying to fix the right side of the car as much as he can.
Let's look at the playoff point structure real quick. I think it's worth taking a look at here while we've got a little bit of a break here. All right, now here's the point system. Here's how it works. Not the playoff point system, but the regular season points. The race winner today is going to get 43 points, okay? That decreases by 1 point back through every position. The stage winner gets 10 points, and that goes through the top 10. So the 10th place finisher obviously gets 1. All right, so we've got one stage in the books for Racing for 2. Now let's look at that playoff point system real quick. And we'll look at that structure here and give you an idea of how everybody slots in. Now, the playoff field size, we talked about, is 12 drivers. We've got 4 races to go after tonight. Now, the first way you get in is a regular season win, and you're within the top 30 in points. The second way you can get in is based on regular season points. Now, the carryover playoff points, you win the season, you get 15 points to carry over. Every time you get a win, you get an extra 5 bonus points. And of course, stage wins carry an extra bonus point off into the playoff system. So there you go. That's what we're looking at here in the AdPro 360 Cup Series here for SSCA. And we get ready to restart the race. And, a premier driver going to restart. It's going to be David Washington with the silver bullet back on the pole here to get restarted. Kyle Kammer is going to get a chance to take down Washington here on the restart. The lights are out, we're ready to go. And the Ford Mustang pace car makes that left turn. Washington hits it at the line like he's done all night. Washington with another great start. Kyle Kammer with a great start. Going to fall right in behind him. He's going to try and hold off Dylan Jones and Richard Regan Jr. They're in their own little fight now. Both of them looking for a piece of real estate coming out of turn 2. Getting it cranked up, getting those ponies up to full steam down the back stretch. Now hard on the brakes into the turn. Washington comes out of turn 4. He's going to lead another lap here in the Paradigm Technology 150 New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 92 laps to go.
Dylan Jones and Richard Regan Jr. is the first side-by-side battle going on for third place right now. Regan's not giving up that third spot. He wants it, and he's going to fight Jones for it. He's going to make him earn it. Jones so far had the better run off of turn number 2. Everybody else is practically single file on the speedway. Campbell's starting in the back of the pack, starting to make up some spots. And it looks like Jones has the better run. Regan Jr. is going to come right on back. I think Jones is going to get him here. And that's the way it's looking.
For 2. Oh, he almost makes contact with Kammer. Had to get on the binders there. Does a really good job of not turning Kammer around.
Yeah, you don't want to get a little selfish right there. That could cause disastrous. And as I said, patience is going to be key to getting around New Hampshire and going for a pass. Right now, Jones, you can't tell whether he's impatient or patient, but nonetheless, he's trying to go for second place on Kyle Kammer. And so far, a lot of room. Oh, no, caution.
Yeah, the caution flag's back out. Somebody's had a problem on track. Not sure here.
I believe the race officials have thrown the caution flag.
Yeah, not sure why. We might have to wait for a little clarification on that one. Tell you what, while we sort that out, we're going to take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel. You have walked into the Paradigm Technology 150 here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway this evening. Folks, if you're just joining us, sit tight. We've still got a little ways to go here. About 85 laps when we hit the stripe. We've only got 15 laps to go in the stage, though, when we hit the line. The lights are out on the pace car. David Washington has this race by the throat right now. Kyle Camber looking to take it away from him here on this restart. We'll see if Camber can get that car wound up quick enough to get by Washington when they get down into one. We're about to find out now. Washington in the Silver Bullet Ford, now positioned well inside of turn 4. And here comes the pace car off the track. It's all up to David Washington. He's going to hit it at the line. That's his spot, and he gets away clean again. Camera with a good restart.
Boy, if there was a restart box rule. Oh, a little bit of a bumper tap between Regan Jr. and Cammer. So far, no harm, no foul. But I tell you what, as I was just about to say, Washington gets to that restart box. If there was a restart box rule, and he is gone. But look at Jones underneath Regan, though.
Yeah, Jones trying to make it happen.
Ooh.
Boy, that was close. Still a little bit of contact with Richard Regan. That opens the door for Ethan Moore.
And remember, Moore's got a little bit of fresher tires than these guys up towards the front. So, he washes up the track.
Yeah, he does.
Campbell got the worst of that, though. He checked out hard.
Wow. Things going crazy as everybody tries to find a spot. As we start to close
contact in the back
here.
Llewellyn, I believe.
Oh, man. You know what? It was Jesse Abraham and Stephen Llewellyn. They make contact. Llewellyn does a great job of saving the car, though. Boy, he gets a kudos bar at the end of this one tonight. Boy, the Reddit Ford does a wonderful job of keeping it on the track. Yeah, he is looking for some upvotes for that save. Go find him on Reddit there, folks.
How to save a race car.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, he's done a pretty good job because right now he's back under Abraham. Boy, Abraham really got on the brakes early there. Checks up Danielson and Eric Stanford behind him. Stanford getting away with pulling off 2 spots there. Gets by Danielson and Ryan Hill. Stanford back up to 10.
Man, Ryan Hill, I'll tell you what, you were talking about the SK Modified run here, Sean. Ryan Hill's car just turned into one because he doesn't have a hood.
All he's got left is the chrome horn. He may need that.
Hey, why
there's
not?
Sexton coming through. Sexton finding a little bit more speed in the car now after several pit repairs. All right, it's worth repeating. Let's go back to the front. David Washington now almost a second ahead of Kyle Cammer and Dylan Jones. We got 10 laps to go in the stage, and trust me, I don't think these drivers mind at all because they're all out there on 28-lap old tires. Jones trying to pull off the move on Cammer. He looks to the inside. Is it there? Can he win it down the backstretch?
Ooh, he got a nice run off turn number 2 on Cammer as they head down into turn number 3, door to door. Cammer versus Jones for second, and this is valuable stage points.
Yes, it is. Jones looking for as many of them as he can pick up. He goes to second. Cammer dropped to third. He's going to still continue to fight there at the top side. Richard Regan sliding around behind him. Now Regan goes to the bottom. Getting a little bit of help from Ethan Moore. Moore made a little bit of contact, gave him just a little bit of a shove, not much.
Man, oh man, Ethan Moore. He's like, I bet he's thinking inside that car, man, I know I can get around these guys, but I just can't get around them.
Alan Elwood out there in the chat letting us know why he's out here. Ethan Moore!
Moore's in trouble.
Ooh,
nice save.
We're on board for that. Ethan Moore was power sliding it through the turn. Woo. So we'll check out. I felt like we were at Eldora all over again there, Tana. Watch this replay. Ethan Moore, the 23 there.
Oh, he may have tapped the back bumper too at the same time, but brilliant save on Moore's part. Maybe him and who was that? Llewellyn can get together on Reddit.
Maybe so. His tires are not going to like him. I was getting ready to say Alan Elwood not with us tonight. Setting up race carts right now in Indianapolis for this weekend. Got a special event going on there. Says he'll be ready to get back at it next Thursday. Our best to you, Alan. We are missing you tonight, buddy.
And I am jealous that you're in Indianapolis, buddy.
Yeah, I'd go to Indianapolis for any reason.
Even if you're not a race fan, how can you not know Indianapolis?
Okay, let's go back to the field here real quick. Ryan Hill, Jed Danielson. Hill trying to hold on to this spot with that car. Danielson damaged himself. Not in much better condition than Ryan's car. And Danielson trying to get around. Oh, Ethan Moore making a move up top here. Or down on the bottom instead of Regan. These two are now fighting.
Yeah, these two have been battling for a while. Plenty of times here in this race tonight. Moore's going to get the position on Regan Jr. for 4th spot. And now he's got a little bit of clean air to work with for Ethan Moore, so that's a good thing.
Now Moore's tires are just a little bit better. They're about 12 laps better than everybody in front of him right now. But that's not going to matter because we're almost to the end of the stage here. We'll come across the line with 2 to go.
Dylan Jones has been kind of hunting for that race lead. He ran a little bit faster lap time than what David Washington ran.
Yeah, finally Jones doesn't find himself mired in traffic, and he's running, baby.
Yeah. At the line now, they both ran pretty much an even lap time. Battle for 9th, though.
Yeah, Stanford trying to get this away from Abraham. That's amazing. Abraham's still running. We've seen him involved in so many incidents this evening, and the car is obviously taking a fair amount of damage, but boy, still running and running well enough to keep himself in front of Stanford right now. Stanford looking for an opportunity. Stanford not much better shape with his car. He's missing the rear end and has some pretty good damage on the front end of the car, certainly affecting the way he turns. Sexton right behind them, but it's going to be Abraham that continues to hold on to this here in 9th. Someone has just come in the pits with a smoker.
Yep.
Ray Richer, maybe?
Yep, it's Ray Richer down there trying to get the car fixed, but looks like they're going to try and their best to get the car fixed, but looks like it's going to be a long night for Ray.
He had front end damage, and I wonder if those gauges got a little out of control and he might have blown it up. Here we come around, though. David Washington down the back stretch looking to take stage 2. I don't think there's any question. He's going to walk away with another stage win here tonight. Washington comes out of 4. Car looks clean and mean. And across the line, and he will win stage 2. Here in the Paradigm 150, Dylan Jones going to come across in second. Kyle Kemmer, after doing some really hard fighting in that stage, going to pick up that spot. We got a race across the line. There was Sexton, and there's several cars all coming across. Sexton, Abraham, Ryan Hill, all coming across at the same time on that finish. And Stanford was the one in front. He'll finish 9th. Abraham going to be credited with 10th. So there you go. Stage 2 now in the books, and well, the second half of this race on tap now. And I'll tell you what, we had a much better stage right there. In the second, and Ray Richer checking in with a boom, snap, crackle, pop. So that front end damage obviously was affecting the way that car was cooling, and he blew her up. So and it looks like that's the way this stage is going to end. And I expect Taylor, everybody's coming in, right?
Oh yes, indeed. Yeah. Everyone is coming down pit road right now. David Washington, Dylan Jones, Kyle Kammer, Ethan Moore, and Richard Regan Jr., your top 5, along with the rest of the field coming down pit road as we're waiting to see who will make the jump to their pit box first. Ethan Moore hits the pit box, sliding into his pit stall. Also, Dylan Jones is trying to get his way, trying to see if he can beat David Washington out of the pit box. David Washington into his pit box along with Gerald Campbell. Pit stops are going on. 4 tires for both the top 3 currently, as we're waiting to see who will beat them off pit road. As we're seeing, as we have Kyle Kammer first out of his pit box. Here he comes out, and we have a race. We have looks like David barely beat him off pit road. We'll have to wait and see what the timing results say. But Dylan Jones came out second, and then of course Kyle Kammer third, Ethan Moore fourth, and then Gerald Campbell, your top 5 coming out of pit road. But we'll have to get a double take though between David Washington and Dylan Jones.
Yeah, that was really close actually. I think Dylan got out just ahead of him, to be honest with you. They both dropped down at the same time, and then Dylan drove right through David's car, which obviously in the iRacing simulation, that's kind of one of the things about pit road that'll happen there, so they don't wreck. But we'll see here. Washington.
We have confirmation it was Dylan Jones that got out of there first by the looks of it. Also, one thing to keep in mind, gentlemen, we have now 70 laps to go, just about. So these guys will definitely need to make one more pit stop before the race is over.
Yeah, do you even try and risk it? I mean, let's face it, there's been some attrition. Why don't you run down the list of drivers that aren't with us anymore here, Taylor?
Yeah, and we got a couple of them at least. We have, looks like, Trey Galligan, Ryan Robertson, Josh Bonnell, Ellery Queen, Ray Richard, and Andrew Payne are all the drivers that have taken it behind the wall due to the fact of damage or other issues. So,
yeah,
unfortunately, we won't see these guys racing until next week.
Yeah, and so with that few cars left, I mean, you really want to maximize your opportunity here. I don't know that taking a gamble on fuel is maximizing your opportunity. Not in this race, not tonight. As officially we come across the line now with 66 laps to go in the race.
Keep an eye, my mind there. And that's why, Gary Sexton, Ryan Hill, all these guys who had these damages are trying their best to get those cars fixed, so that way they can gain those extra points, because with all those guys who are out of the race, that just gives them more positions for the end of the race. So they're really pushing hard.
Keep an eye on one more driver. He's a lap down. He was 3 laps down, but he keeps just coming back. And if he sees another caution, he will be the lucky dog. And that's Andrew Farnyards. He's fast no matter where he's at. Has a couple blinking issues here tonight, but he's only a lap down. And if we get another caution, he will be the lucky dog.
All right, well, here we go. Pace car ready to set him loose once again, and this time it's going to be Dylan Jones on point. I don't think that's going to matter to David Washington. Here we go. And Washington doesn't change a thing, but Dylan Jones gets a great jump off the start. So does Washington. He's going to be right there at his back door. Leaves Cameron and Ethan Moore back there to settle it amongst themselves. Ethan Moore.
Number 9 up the hill just a little bit. That was Llewellyn.
Yeah, Llewellyn struggled a little bit on this restart. Locklear going to get by. They almost make contact again. Richard Regan Jr. had to be careful there. He almost ran over Gerald Campbell. Boy, Campbell doesn't need any more trouble at this point for sure. But up front, Dylan Jones able to break away a little bit from David Washington. Great restart for him.
Everybody getting in a single file line at the moment, trying to take it easy because this is the final stage. It's go big or go home in this third stage. Right now, Dylan Jones is up front. Washington has not yet found a way past Jones, but I'm sure he'll find a way. They're on even tires now, so we'll see. Track position playing a big, important role here tonight. Oh, who's that going for a pass on the inside? That is Llewellyn. Underneath, trying to get underneath Locklear. That's the first side-by-side battle for 7th.
Yeah, and Locklear not wanting to give that away. He's worked hard himself to get up into the top 10 tonight. He does not want to give this away to Llewellyn. Stays in there really well. And you know what? At the top 6 really stack it up here. Ethan Moore, we talked about earlier in the points, right now in 12 points, and one of those drivers that can really, really move up to the top of the points here. Boy, if he could even secure a win, what a night it could be for Ethan Moore.
Oh, Washington just went around Jones for the lead.
Oh, boy, yes, he did. Let's catch that on the replay. Watch it over again. These two battling since the restart, and Washington going to set them up coming down the backstretch, going to look down to the inside and able to just powers on by. Leaves Jones just back there eating his dust.
I mean, Jones and Washington, in my opinion, are the two best cars in race trim. I mean, these two guys have been showing their speed in traffic and in clean air. Right now, Jones is going to look towards the inside of Washington. He's going to try something in turns 1 and 2. He's a little too low on the bottom of the racetrack. He ain't going to be able to complete the pass on corner exit. Washington still hangs on.
Yeah, good job by David there. Keeping that car under control. Jones still dead in his tracks, on board here with him.
Oh, Jones. He made a mistake. I think that was a mistake down turn 1 and 2, and he looks like he made another one because he was really high in the gray area in 3 and 4.
Mistake, or is he just changing up his line a little bit? I don't know. He's got to be careful. If it was a mistake, it's opened up opportunity for Cameron and Campbell now as they start to close here just a bit. Washington keeping his distance here at about 4/10.
Well, whatever Jones did, it lost him a little time. But yeah, you're right there, Sean. I mean, he is still keeping tabs for the race leader. We do got a battle for third. Campbell underneath Cameron for position. Almost making contact off of turn number 4. Gerald Campbell on the inside, trying to make something happen. Oh, Cameron's up the hill, almost into the outside wall. Campbell's going to take advantage of this. Richard Regan's going to take advantage of this. Cameron still hangs on, coming off of turn number 2. Good save, good save. Still a battle going on between these two cats for 4th spot. That's Regan Jr. in the 46, Cameron in the 8. And this is bringing up Ethan Moore, who's currently running in 6th place right now. Really nowhere to go at the moment.
I wonder if that right rear damage on Moore and a little bit of right front damage, I wonder if that's what's holding him back right now. Because, boy, since the green flag dropped on this restart, he's just continuing to back up a little bit. On the previous runs, he was so much better. Maybe just waiting for the car to come to him here a little bit as we get deeper into the run. But right now, stuck behind and just riding along in that popcorn position.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to beat the popcorn into the wall.
Right.
If these two cats get together, because they're really battling hard, side by side, door to door off turn number 2. It is practically a battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th with Cameron just looking at these two guys. Cameron, oh man, Moore almost got to the back of Regan Jr. Regan trying to come back on Cameron, not going to happen. Still single file as they come across the stretch.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm looking up the field a little bit. Gerald Campbell is there. He's caught Dylan Jones now, and boy, the badly damaged VFW Ford of Gerald Campbell, the rumors of his demise were extremely over-exaggerated. That car still looks healthy enough to win this race. If he can somehow get around Jones and get back to battling with David Washington, he might have something here tonight.
Might have something indeed. So far, everybody's kind of getting fanned out just a little bit at the moment. I do see Moore pressuring the 46 car of Regan Jr. just a little bit, but cannot do anything with him just yet. There was a battle that I was looking at. That was Stephen Llewellyn and Eric Stanford.
Yeah, I was checking in on that too. And a couple of Fords matched up there. Stanford with a little bit of damage on this car. Llewellyn, not so much, but Stanford looking pretty racy here. Their lap times practically identical, only split by a little less than 1/10 of a second.
That looks like the closest battle on track. The other battle's kind of deep in the field with Abraham and Ryan Hill for 11th. Otherwise, it's a pretty good battle so far between Stanford and Llewellyn.
Yeah, and Stanford goes down to the bottom of the track looking for something there. Might have thought he had it there for a moment, and then it went away. A better exit for Llewellyn. Going to keep the position there in 8th. Chef Andy Ford gets a good exit, and Llewellyn gets a little bit of the wall there on exit. Oh, and you know what? There's Farnyards now making a move. coming through the field. Now remember, Farnyar is currently a lap down. Still fighting to get back on the lead lap. Another caution will get it done for him.
Boy,
aside
right
from
going... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, aside from for some connection issues, Farnyar's had a clean car tonight.
And he still does, Sean. I mean, the only problem is he's a lap or more down. The lowest I've seen him down was 3 laps down. He's made up 2 of them. Just need one more caution flag to get that back, unless he really wants to be brave enough and try to go for the old-fashioned way, but that's highly unlikely.
And boy, look what it did to the battle, though, between Stanford and Llewellyn.
It brought them together more.
Yeah, it really did. Now Stanford's going to get that spot. And it finally pays off. He was able to use the help there of Farnyar's coming through. And Stanford goes up to 8th, dropping Llewellyn to 9th. All right, so we took a look at that for a few minutes. And, I think maybe we'll take this opportunity to run down the field here real quick. Right now in the lead, it's still David Washington. Been in command of most of this race. He's had a couple of good battles, but right now it belongs to him again. And he's eating up the clean air. He's clean behind and he's clean in front. So Washington remaining your leader. Dylan Jones there in second. And Jones, we've talked about the run he's had tonight. The car looks great. He's just got to be patient at this point. Gerald Campbell in third, and that is a hard third, folks. Campbell's had to scratch and claw for that third place spot right now, and he's hanging on. Kyle Kammer been in the middle of several battles this evening. Kammer holding on to 4th place after an 11th place start tonight. And rounding out the top 5, it's going to be Richard Regan Jr. He's been a tough customer himself tonight. Tanner, why don't you take the next 5 for me?
Yeah, absolutely. In the 5th place right now, or actually, excuse me, 6th place, Ethan Moore has seen an up and down night here tonight. But a little damage here and there, but he's still hanging strong, though. Trying to run down Richard Regan Jr., but if he can maintain his spot, it might be good for him points-wise here tonight. May not be a win, but points is a good thing. How about William Locklear, though, in 7th place? Started 15th. Has had a quiet night. Haven't talked about him too much. Had seen some incidents here and there. I do see some damage on the car, but so far having a solid top 10 here tonight. And the way he keeps this up, he could get a top 10 finish. Eric Stanford, who we just talked about battling with Stephen Llewellyn, who's currently in 8th place, started 10th. Has found some serious damage and serious incidents. He doesn't really have a bumper on that car, so if anybody gives him a shot, it's going to be right into the suspension area. But nonetheless, that car must be has an ill-handling car, but still running okay in the top 10 in 8th. Stephen Llewellyn had a nice save earlier in the run, last green flag run, I believe, but relatively he has a pretty clean car with some minor damage to it. Having a good car. I mean, right now he's kind of learning the ropes of New Hampshire. Started 18th on the day, and so far up to 9th. And Ryan Hill has found trouble. I tell you what, that car has turned into an SK Modified, but it still has a good amount of horsepower to it, like a Gen 6 Cup car does. He is currently running in 10th after starting 16th on the day. Right now he's going after Stephen Llewellyn, and this concludes the top 10 drivers.
All right, so we got Campbell and Cameron fighting for position right now. Not fighting for points, but fighting for position. Campbell not in this points championship. Cameron is. And Cameron cannot find a way around that damaged car, Gerald Campbell. He's still wheeling it. His arms have got to be killing him at this point. I can't imagine that car is driving straight. Washington still your leader. Dylan Jones keeping it close, though. Jones not letting him get away with this race. Not this time. Not in the final stage. And then this final stage starting to wind down. 42 laps to go here at the stripe. Hammer back to the battle here. He's trying to get it done on Campbell on the inside.
Cannot complete the pass just yet. Oh, Campbell up the hill just a little bit. Camber getting really close to the left rear quarter panel as they head towards the exit of turn number 2. No contact between the two drivers. Camber just let off. He's going to try to get him again, though.
I think Cameron knows he can get him. He's just got to be. He's got to play it smart. He can't wreck him. Can't cause an incident here. You don't want to be responsible for that. Don't want to leave yourself with a chance of being penalized when you've had such a great run tonight. You've worked so hard at this point. Now he's going to get that chance. Campbell makes that mistake again. Tanner and boy, Cameron down on the inside. Can he pull this off? Can he make it stick? You got to stick the landing. Oh, and man, I'll tell you what, Campbell's car really fighting to push. In fact,
Campbell's going to pits.
Here comes Campbell. Yeah, he's had enough.
Yeah, it might not be racing for points, but he wants to try to at least get a good finish out of this. He's going to come down pit road. I do believe it's 45. Is it 45 miles an hour?
It is, yes.
45 miles an hour down pit road.
And Taylor, he's going to take 4 in fuel there, right?
Yep, by the looks of it, he's trying to make his way down pit road, 45 mile an hour, just crawling as he slides into his pit box. Pit crew now goes to work, getting 4 tires and fuel in the car, so hopefully he'll be back out on the track. Might be trying to do a little bit of a strategy call as he tries to pit a little bit earlier before the rest of the field does. Hopefully, in his eyes, he might be able to pull out in front of the rest of the leaders as he now goes a lap down and exits off pit road.
Tanner, that's that Bill Soup's on early peel, late reveal that his father always used to talk about, isn't it?
It sure is, but I'm just curious of who else is going to flinch down pit road right now. So far, I have not seen anybody flinching down pit road. I think he might be trying to split this run in half, but they might catch him on a long run if this remains green.
Well, the race is on, indeed. Here, we are now getting into a point of no return with this one. Things becoming quite apparent out on track. Sexton getting by Llewellyn back there for 10th place. And I can't understand why Llewellyn continues to back up through the field. He's got a pretty good race car, and I wonder if he's just playing it safe, maybe. With Sexton, with his Dirty Air Toyota, able to get around the Dirty Air Studios machine, is seen better nights. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but you know what? A great job by Gary, just hanging on to the top 10. His status in the championship. Llewellyn goes up the track again, right next to Danielson. Judd does a good job of turning down and avoiding the contact.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Tanner, we almost had another one there.
Yeah, Llewellyn is really struggling with the handling of that race car. That car, I mean, before hitting the wall, he was a little over a second behind everybody else as far as lap time is concerned. Everybody else is kind of in the 30 lap time bracket where he's in the 31.3s. So Llewellyn's extremely struggling.
Yeah, he's not liking those 30 plus lap tires on the car right now. They are not helping his cause here this evening. And speaking of causes right now, it's really spread out up at the top. Richard Regan has slotted himself now into 4th. Gerald Campbell chasing, but not quite there. Campbell, of course, now a lap down after that early pit stop. And now Campbell going to try and complete the move on Richard Regan here. Gets him a little bit closer back to the lead lap. Of course, everybody in front of Campbell right now, all still needing to get that final pit stop here. As we know, based on when we restarted this race, not everybody going to be able to make it on fuel. We said that run was about 60 to 65 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
We restarted with, what was it, like 68 to go? I think 68 or 69 to go.
Yeah, somewhere in that time bracket. And their next pit stop is going to be their last pit stop. So if we stay green to the end, this upcoming pit stop under green is going to be the money pit stop. You know, I mean, if Dylan Jones goes in, if I was Washington, get the pit road because you do not want to lose time. And we did see how a difference on tires, like, for example, 5 laps is, it's not too much of a difference. So track position is definitely key. So if you see your other competitors start pitting, you better pit.
You know, we were talking about the points. You know, Abraham and Locklear both still in this race right now, better than Gary Sexton, who's in 12th. So, you know, and more, Ethan Moore too, also better than Sexton right now. So, you know, Sexton, we talked about from the very beginning, not safe in this points chase. And who knew that heavy damage that early would be so consequential here late in the race? But that's the way it's looking for Sexton. He's going to need to get on his horse and maybe try and pick up a couple more spots before this race is over.
Yeah, absolutely. Sexton, he's got to try to make up something today, and if not, it's going to be hard because the next race is next week at Watkins Glen. Then you got Michigan, Bristol, and Darlington. That's the upcoming races on the schedule, and a lot of them are mixed bag. We got Michigan, we got Bristol. Bristol's being a really hard one. Darlington's probably a hard one. And if you're not a road course driver at all, I mean, then you're not going to be very good at Watkins Glen. So some tough tracks coming up for these drivers.
And that was Ryan Hill getting by Eric Stanford on screen. The Hill Coast Chevrolet still wheeling, still getting around New Hampshire Motor Speedway here in the Paradigm 150, Paradigm Technologies 150. Hill now in 7th. He is up 9 spots. Our big mover of the race is still, believe it or not, it's still Ethan Moore. 12 spots gained, currently sitting in 5th. We talked about the importance of a good run for Moore. He's been able to recover. Moore has been up and down this field like a yo-yo this evening. He's in a state of yo, Tanner. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but a state of yo is not a bad thing to be in.
I'm not familiar with it at all, unfortunately, but
that's all right. We'll cover it later. It's all right. Nobody gets that reference except for Bill Soupson, who is watching right now. So. Okay, so Tanner, and we see Campbell just get by Dylan Jones there, unlapping himself, and now Campbell actually to the rear door here of David Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just curious where this is going to put Gerald Campbell. This could be a winning move, and like I said, this could be. But here's the kicker: you got as fast as Washington and Jones, as fast as they are, and when they get on fresh tires, they're going to try to catch him. And there's still plenty of laps left here. Here goes Campbell unlapping himself at the moment.
He's going to try to. There he goes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he will. The fresher tires is going to be the better than what Washington is, despite how fast Washington is.
All right, so Gerald Campbell back on the lead lap at the very, very back of it. Boy, and how important does this make the pit stop for Washington and Jones, Cammer, Richard Regan, those guys? Boy, they're going to have to just be perfect on their stops now that Campbell has managed to get back around the field and back on the lead lap.
Campbell had a solid pit stop, his last pit stop. That was a 14.4, to where an average pit time here tonight has been 15 seconds. So that's pretty good for Gerald Campbell on his last pit stop. I mean, Campbell despite if he has to, I don't think he has to come back down pit road, but let's just say if he does for whatever reason, right now you have to stay out. You've made your bet.
Well, all eyes on the leader in second place right now is, what's their strategy going to be? It's 24 laps to go at the line, and things are winding down real quickly here in the Paradigm Technology 150. The AdPro 360 Cup Series put on a good show here in the second half of the race.
Oh, Jones hit the wall of turn number 2 just a little bit. He's got it wound up, not serious damage on the right side. The only thing that I can see really this is going to hurt Gerald Campbell is if we see a caution flag.
Yeah, that's his enemy right now is the laundry, and we almost got some right there. One of the best position battles on track right now is Ryan Hill, Eric Stanford still. Hill, I don't know how he's doing it, but that car is still fast enough to keep Eric Stanford in the mirror. And I don't know if it's just a case where Stanford's car has got less damage. It certainly doesn't look like it has less damage. But Ryan Hill putting on a good performance here in 7th place with that car.
He most certainly is, and he's making that modified work. Kind of almost reminds me of the old Dale Earnhardt days. You know, he's got a beat-up car, but he's still making it drive good out there. And Hill's doing exactly that.
Does it qualify as a car at this point, though? Only about half of it left.
Well, it is an SK modified with a Gen 6 modifications to it.
It's a good thing we don't have that 5-minute repair rule in this series.
Yeah. Boy, we'd have, 4 cars left tonight? All right. Well, Dylan Jones digging now. Jones has caught David Washington here all of a sudden late in the run. Both of these cars had 48 laps. Now they're working on the 48 laps on these tires and fuel.
We got Llewellyn hitting the pits now, so I assume we might see some drivers.
Yeah, no.
Back to the front.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that was just a situation where Llewellyn was
really
struggling. I had seen him in the wall again, and I think he just gave up. Said, yeah, it's time. I'm just going to bring her in. 20 laps to go. It's time to boogie, baby. And here comes our leader. David Washington is in. Dylan Jones is going to keep going around one more time.
I called it.
One, maybe many. We'll see here. Now, I got to keep an eye on where Gerald Campbell's at on this track. Gerald Campbell on the backstretch, chasing Gary Sexton right now. Going to get by Sexton, down through the turn, into 3, out of 3, into 4. Going to make the exit on 4, come down the front stretch.
Washington's still in his pit box.
He is.
Yep, just do it. Looks like a 2-tire pit stop, and he is back out on track.
2 tires.
William Locklear also on pit road at the moment. He looks like we're waiting to see. Is he going to do 2 tires? Waiting to see. Yes, it looks like 4 tires by the looks of it at the moment.
Campbell's getting held up with this traffic right now. Trying to get by Stanford, Ryan Hill. I mean, it's all battles for position, but he certainly has the better car. Finally able to clear Stanford and now gets by Ryan Hill. Now he can get back to racing. Everybody in front of him has got to pit. The gap back to David Washington, 4.6 seconds. And closing, Washington is in a hurry.
Go time now for Washington. He's got some traffic to deal with, but it's go time.
Well, Campbell looking like the really, really smart strategy right now with just 17 laps to go with this race. And you know what? I got to be honest. At the pace Washington's running right now, he just gets by Jesse Abraham. He's got it down to 3.4 seconds. He's got the time. He's got to navigate the traffic to get there, though.
And this is not good for Dylan Jones, realistically. I mean, you see how fast Campbell was.
Yeah, Dylan should have taken that opportunity to come in right with him or come in right that lap after. I don't think staying out on the track right now is serving him well at all. I think the top 4 are all sitting ducks right now.
Oh, most definitely. Even with 2 tires, that's way much better than these 30-lap-old tires. I'm hoping these guys are thinking they cannot stretch it. 8 laps is a very hard stretch. They can maybe save it to where another 2 laps maybe since they have a little bit of gaps, but I don't see them making these extra 8 laps.
I don't either, Taylor. I mean, Washington's coming. He's catching Campbell. And the only thing...
It's an alarming rate.
At this stage, Green, once Washington passes Campbell, Washington's going to win this race. The only thing Campbell's going to get out of this is good track position, a good finish here today, realistically. Right now, as Sean said, top 4 drivers are sitting ducks.
Yeah. Boy, Washington comes out of the pit with 2 tires, and that car looks as fast as it's been all night. Washington, again, I'll say it again, just closing at an alarming rate on Campbell. He's got it down to 1.8 seconds. I don't think there's any doubt at this point that he's going to get by Campbell, unless Campbell just takes him out. But Campbell, of course, like what we said a little while ago, not racing for points here in this race, but Washington sure is. And the Silver Bullet been a fast car all night, and it's fast now, late in the race, with now just 13 laps to go. And we still got to watch these 4 cars in front of him. Dylan Jones, Kyle Cameron, Richard Regan Jr., and Ethan Moore all still need to come in, or at least we think they do. I don't think they can make it 13 laps.
I don't think it either, Sean, but either way, we are setting up for some kind of good finish here at New Hampshire. Can they make it on 13 laps? I don't think so, but maybe they can prove us wrong. I mean, this track does have a history of fuel mileage races here in New Hampshire. If anybody remembers Clint Boyer in 2010.
Outlasted them all.
Yep. Tony Stewart was the one that was leading on the last lap and ran out.
On board with David Washington here. See, as he closes in on Gerald Campbell, just picks up a mountain of time there in the center of the turn.
Those two tires could help that car rotate a heck of a lot better than what Gerald Campbell can, realistically, Sean. And look at him; he's really rotating through the corner. He really caught that back bumper. It almost looked like he never let off the gas.
It looked like it was a slot car.
Yeah,
honestly, the way he was just stuck through the turn there.
He's gonna get by Campbell.
Here we go.
Ooh,
little contact. A little bit of a hip check. As he went by. I don't think it mattered.
Thank God we ain't got tire rubs.
Well, Washington now goes to 5th. Yes, folks, that's right, 5th. Why? Because Dylan Jones, Kyle Cameron, Richard Regan, and Ethan Moore still are out on track now, working lap 59 on their tires and fuel. We said the window was about 60 to 65. We expect them to start dropping like flies, but who knows? Washington catching Ethan Moore. Next 3 laps of this race will really tell the tale of what's going on.
Oh, man, Joe Jones is catching heavy-duty traffic right now, boys. Oh, he's in a world of trouble here. Oh, almost got clipped by Llewellyn.
Boy, you're leading this race. It's the last thing. Jones got nothing but trouble in front of him right now. Llewellyn going to go down the inside. Jessica's Jones is pitting. Jones comes down and comes in for the pit stop. Let's see how long he can hang on.
It looks like everyone else is staying out still. It's Dylan Jonas coming down to his pit box. Maybe he might try the same strategy as David Washington, 2 tires. He gets into his pit box, waiting to see what his move will be. Looks like just fuel only. He decides to go back out onto the track and back onto the racetrack.
Well, apparently Washington made a mistake because Gerald Campbell gets back past David Washington into the lead of this race.
I think it's on lap 142 coming off of turn number 2. He got a little slow off of turn number 2, and Campbell had a big old run down that back straightaway onto Washington. I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah, it was well over a minute ago. I think we might have... Maybe we did find it. Let's take a quick look at it here on the replay. There's Washington in the lead right there. I think he's going to get into trouble down in turn 3 is where he's going to make this mistake.
It's low right about here, Sean, and Campbell really closed the gap big time down that back straightaway.
And maybe the car just got really tight on him all of a sudden. That's all right. We're back live, though, and now Washington trying to take the spot back, and he's going to get it. He's going to get by Gerald Campbell, and now he's going to race Ethan Moore for second, and they almost make contact.
Oh, man, Moore fishtailed off the corner of the racetrack there.
Now Washington's going to go on by. Ethan Moore, of course, really stretching it on fuel and those tires. He's going to work lap 64 across the line for Ethan Moore. 4 laps to go. Can Moore nurse that car around? He's all over the rear bumper of Campbell. Kyle Cameron all of a sudden making moves in this race.
Yeah, he was in second place when Jones pitted.
Oh, no. Trouble for our leader, David Washington. Got into the wall. Smoke from the car. Oh, no, Washington with big trouble. Gerald Campbell goes alongside and by Ethan Moore now looking to get past him. This is David Washington after leading most of this race. all of a sudden in the last 20 laps has just struggled mightily. The car up in the wall, blocks it up into the safer barrier. Could be hardware problem, we don't know, but that car is hurt. It's off pace now, and Gerald Campbell hangs on to second. Kyle Kammer still in the lead of this race. Kammer doing it with smoke and mirrors right now. He's working on lap 66. He's got a lap and a half to go. Can he hang on here?
He's out of gas.
He's out of fuel.
He's out of fuel.
He is. He's out of fuel. Ray Richard coming around. He's going to try. I think is he going to try and stay on track? No, he's got to bring it in.
He has to.
Kammer's going to lose it in the pits.
White flag, but here comes Campbell and Washington. They're close together.
Oh, boy, Washington back to the lead. 1 lap to go. Campbell going to try and fight him on the outside. David Washington, 150 laps
Oh,
here.
Washington has a problem.
Oh.
Here comes Campbell off of turn number 2, Sean.
Wow. And Washington has unexplainable trouble once again. It's going to cost in this race. Gerald Campbell going to come out of turn 4. The Paradigm Technologies 150 at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Gerald Campbell is your winner tonight. A Thursday night winner for Gerald Campbell in the Cup Series.
It looks like it.
He must have short fueled. You know what? Maybe that's the trouble Washington was having. He short fueled. That short pit stop for Washington. And I'll tell you what, Taylor, that might have been a big miscalculation.
Yeah, looks like the crew chief might have made a miscalculation on that. So
Ethan Moore is
there's
out
going to be some
also.
talking after the race.
We've got drivers on the backstretch that are out of fuel or look like they're out of fuel.
Man, Sean, I told you to get that. I told you we were setting up for an exciting finish. I mean, that 2010 fuel mileage race back in the heyday with Clint Boyer was, New Hampshire does produce some great races, and tonight we just seen another one.
I do got to say, though, Kyle Kammer had me a little concerned. I was wondering, was he going to make it all the way? Because he was not stopping at all.
Well, another great race here in the SSCA AdPro 360 Cup Series from New Hampshire Speedway. We'll be back in just a moment here to put a bow on the Paradigm Technologies 150. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel. What a race tonight by the AdPro 360 Cup Series here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Old Loudon put on a great show for us once again. Gerald Campbell, the big winner tonight. Ethan Moore going to have to settle for second. David Washington, trouble there at the end of the race. Not enough fuel. Will get on the podium just barely. Dylan Jones had this race in his hands, and then he had to pit on the last lap. He ran out of fuel, pushed her too far. Fourth for him. Fifth going to go to Richard Reagan Jr. He had a good, solid race all night. Look at Gary Sexton there. Sexton did exactly what he needed to do. He gets himself up there and winds up with a sixth-place finish. Ryan Hill, seventh. Kyle Kammer going to finish eighth after all the work he did tonight. He's going to wind up with an eighth place. Just doesn't seem fair. William Locklear, another solid performance by him tonight in the top 10. He'll finish ninth. And 10th, somehow Jesse Abraham wheeled that car home to a 10th place finish. Congratulations to him.
Yes, finishing outside the top 10. Last car on the lead lap, Eric Stanford finishes 11th tonight. Andrew Farnyards could not get that caution to get back on the lead lap, so he'll finish a lap down in 12th. Stephen Llewellyn found some trouble. Was running pretty good in the top 10. He'll have to settle for a 13th place finish. Judd Danielson, tough night for him. He finishes in 14th. 15th, Andrew Payne. Ray Richer was running well in the top 5. He'll have to settle with a 16th place finish after a rough night. Ellery Queen in 17th. Josh Bonwell finishes 18th. Ryan Robertson in 19th. And rounding out the top 20 cars that started tonight's event, Trey Galgan.
All right, Tanner, Taylor, let's talk to Gerald Campbell. Gerald Campbell, a big win tonight in the AdPro 360 Cup Series. Gerald, congratulations. Not an easy victory at all. It was a bit rough and tumble out there tonight, wasn't it?
It was. I don't know what happened there. I think I only led one lap today, but it was all over the place. I have no idea what was going on the racetrack. I just kept seeing people dropping out. David Washington and me, I guess he must have not fueled up on the last pit stop correctly or something like that, because he kept on passing me. And then he slowed down, and I passed him. And then he passed me, and then it was back and forth. I'm just like, well, you know, you don't get to choose how you win them, but I'll be happy enough to get this win, that's for sure.
Man, you know, obviously your car picked up a little bit of damage along the way tonight. What was it like handling that thing?
You know, I actually love this track, and I felt like I had a good run car, but you know, I got involved where I was on the outside, and it's just no room on this track. It's a one groove racetrack, which to me, I absolutely love that. It makes it a challenge, and even to pass a lap car, I knew I had to come in and get tires and have just absolutely brand new tires to get through the field, because I knew the guys that pitted later on, they're all going to be around on the same lap tires. They just wouldn't be able to get past each other. You could have a guy that's a second slower, and you'd take 3 to 4 laps to get around him. So I knew I had to have a 2-second quicker car to work my way up through the field without having a challenge passing anybody. And it was a breeze. This car looks torn up, but brand new tires, man. They're king here. They're 2 seconds quicker. So I mean, it's that's how I got all the way up there to where I could battle David Washington. I think he would have been fine. He probably would have won the race, except for I was so far up there he couldn't try to save his fuel. He had to try to battle me, and I think it just kind of cost him at the end. And a lot of those guys probably saw that I was coming pretty quickly, and all of them couldn't save as much as they probably would have liked to. So, you know, luck, but you know, you kind of got to put yourself into those situations to get yourself into there. So I had a fast car. I played a strategy that was risky. I'm not running for points. I'm just running here trying to get a victory, and by golly, I got one.
By golly, you did, and I'm sure you and the VFW Ford team are going to have a big celebration tonight. But is it possible to look through the smoke of the celebration there into next week and think about Watkins Glen? How many laps are you going to have to put in to be ready?
You got me. I don't usually run those road courses. I'm a circle track guy myself, but you just brought it up. VFW. What an awesome time to win. VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars on my car. I always run it. And we won right after 4th of July. And to everyone out there, it doesn't have to be 4th of July. to go and thank a vet. You should always go and thank a vet, even the day after. You see a vet, you thank him for his service, because, yes, I came out here, it looked pretty awesome, but those vets, they're awesome every single day, and you should let them know that.
And we will, Gerald. Thanks a lot, buddy. We'll see you next week in Watkins Glen.
Then thank you, everyone that was watching. Thank you, my wife that's probably working right now, my parents, and everything else like that. And you guys do a wonderful job announcing, and I can't wait to watch this over and over again, wondering how the heck I did it.
You go do that, Gerald. We'll catch you again next week. And, boy, a great interview with him. Now, we're going to catch up with Ethan Moore. Tanner's going to talk to him. Ethan with a great run tonight.
I've caught up with Ethan Moore, who had a great run, majority of the race in the top 10. Despite some damage there, Ethan, I bet you didn't plan on, or you didn't were anticipating to come home second place, man. Looks like Washington had a fuel problem there. Tell me about the race, though. Looked like you had an ill-handling car once you got that damage.
Yeah, I messed up the front end there, and it just kind of I tried to throw a slide job, messed it up, blocked the tires up, slapped the wall, kind of messed the camber up a little bit, and it just turned like crap the rest of the night. But we stuck with it and got the iRacing Toyota on a podium anyways.
What was going through your mind when it comes to that before that final pit stop? How do you determine when the pit, even though despite when drivers who are ahead of you have already decided to pit, like Gerald Campbell, like Washington, who actually Washington finished third, but how do you decide when to actually make your pit stop? Is it planned ahead of time, or is it kind of go along, plan itself out as the race goes on?
You know, I just kind of had a plan, and I had a lap in mind, and I just stuck with it, you know, regardless of what everybody else did. I was kind of on a weird strategy all night. I messed up a little earlier and kind of got off a weird pit strategy, but we just stuck with it and ended up working out, I guess.
And Ethan, this is such a great points night for you to finish in second place. We're going to a very different racetrack next week. New Hampshire's done; it's out of the way. I know it was probably very hard to pass for you guys out there. But next week, Watkins Glen. How do you plan on attacking Watkins Glen to get a good finish out of it?
Oh, I love Watkins Glen. I love road courses. I'm just really excited to get there because they're a good points race for us. So we get the iRacing Toyota back out there and hopefully get another podium and a win.
All right, Ethan. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to come talk with us tonight. Great job overall on the driving. Despite the damage on the race car, I know New Hampshire's a tough track, and best of luck to you at Watkins Glen next week.
I appreciate it. See you guys next time.
Back to you, Sean.
All right, and that was Ethan Moore, a great run for him in the iRaps machine this evening, and now we're going to talk to Richard Regan Jr., who had a bit of an adventure himself, and Taylor's going to catch up with him.
Yes, we caught up with Richard Regan Jr., driver of that number 46 Neonism Ford. And Richard, you pretty much had an interesting night, pretty much running in the top 5 all night. Tell us how the car felt. What was your mind going through the race tonight?
Well, we didn't really have the speed in practice or qualifying, so we started, I think, 4th from last. So big wreck within the first 3 laps got us up front early. Struggled with center off all night like usual, but overall the race was good and good fuel mileage race at the end.
Yeah, good points race for you tonight as we go next week into Watkins Glen. Tell me, are you planning on maybe trying to do a little bit of extra setup work and tuning as we get ready for that road course race?
Yeah, I think I have a good shot at Watkins Glen. I like the road courses and everything. So we'll be bringing the AMSOIL car up for Watkins Glen, and then we'll be running this car again at Michigan in 3 weeks. But it was funny because my crew chief, Corey, at the beginning of the 3rd stage said, "Hey, do you want to win this race or do you want to get a good finish?" So I said, "Hey, I want to win this race." And we took a chance and it didn't work out. Luckily, we were able to pick off another 5 spots on that last lap and get a top 5 good points day.
Yes, very good points day for you today. As Regan, you finished top 5, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody at Gen X Racing for all the work that they do and help me becoming a better driver. You guys at GSRC, AMSOIL for coming on board, Neonism, LSR TV, and yeah, that's about it. Oh, and my aunt for watching.
Oh yeah, you got to make sure you
that one would have been bad if I forgot.
Don't miss that one, man.
Sorry.
All right, and that was Richard Regan Jr. Glad to talk to him. I'm going to talk to Kyle Kammer real quick. Kyle, you were so fast all night. What happened there in the end? Kyle, can you hear us, buddy? Kyle, we're going to wait for Kyle here, see if we can get his microphone sorted out real quick.
Yeah. Gotcha.
There he is. There's Kyle. Kyle, I had asked, I made the statement, you were so fast all night up there fighting to win this race. What happened there at the end?
Yeah, I think we were probably 20 or 25 laps into a run, and, the Aegis team came to the realization that this may go green, and if it does, we aren't going to make it on fuel. So I know Washington and Jones decided they were just going to push and make a stop when they ran out of fuel, and I started trying to save. And I started saving, I think, with 30 or 32 laps to go, and I came up 1 lap short.
Well, listen, sometimes it works out for you, sometimes it doesn't. That's a tough break for you tonight. Time to put it in the past, though. We got to look forward. Got to look forward to next week. Not any time to rest. We get right back to racing next Thursday night. You looking for something special in Watkins Glen?
I love Watkins Glen. It's one of my favorite tracks, and I'm looking to get a top 5 there for sure.
So the field should be nervous, knowing that you've got a little bit of experience there.
Well, I don't know if they should be nervous of me because there's a lot faster guys than me. Ryan Hill is really, really fast at Watkins Glen, so I think he'll be setting the pace most of the time, and we'll be all chasing him. But I'm looking forward to it. It's just a fun track to drive.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you there, Kyle. Anybody you'd like to thank real quick?
Yeah, I just want to thank Box Crush for coming on and sponsoring me for the season, and Aegis for making me a part of the team. Dave Washington, Andrew Freenars, and Dylan Jones have, all been teaching me so much, and I feel like, week to week I'm progressively getting better. I think, without the fuel situation, I think I had my best run of the year tonight as far as competitiveness. And everybody else over at Aegis that helps us get it done. And GSRC for putting on the broadcast. You guys do an awesome job. And everybody over at SSCA that puts in the time to put this league on.
All right, and that is Kyle Kammer, and we'll see him also next week in Watkins Glen. But now it's time to kind of wrap things up. We do want you to remember that today was brought to you thanks to Paradigm Technology. Remember, folks, Paradigm, they're out there to leverage creative and development talent throughout the country in order to achieve the greatest level of success for their clients. Listen, you can get a hold of them at pdc.technology, or you can find them at paradigmdevelopment.net. And we also want to thank AdPro 360, our title sponsor. AdPro 360, they're an advertising agency that specializes in digital and social media marketing. For more information, go to adproresults.com. I did get that right earlier in the broadcast. All right, and we also want to thank the Simulated Stock Car Association for organizing the AdPro 360 Cup Series and contracted with GSRC to broadcast it. On the screen now are just some of the companies, equipment, and software that make this broadcast possible and every broadcast you see here on the Global Sim Racing channel. The iconic music that lets your ears alert your eyes you're watching GSRC comes courtesy of Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. And hey, folks, while you're here, hit that red button that says subscribe. If you're not a subscriber to GSRC, you're missing out. Tanner?
Yes, sir. You'd definitely be missing out if you're not subscribed, because the SSCA Cup Series is going to return next week on July 12th for round 14 from Watkins Glen International. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action, and we would hope you join us. Sliding across your screen now are some of the upcoming broadcasts, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like to know more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, you can find it all at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel.
Tanner, we are everywhere. Don't forget that. We're watching. We're keeping an eye on all of you. Don't forget that, okay? GSRC is here. We're going to be here for a long time. Now, finally, on behalf of our amazing crew tonight, Tanner Sharp, Tyler Burris coming on board, working the pit lane and giving us some real quality info along the way. Our director, Joe, always at his peak. And our camera artist, Dougie Beard. I'd like to thank you all for watching. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.